bail that was granted to actor Darshan was revoked, and post which we now know that both he and the co-accused in the Renuka murder case, Pavitra Gowda, have now been taken back into custody. The top court earlier cancelled the bail which was granted to Kannada actor Darshan and Pavitra Gowda and 5 others by Karnataka High Court in the Renuka murder case. The Supreme Court pointed out lapses in Karnataka High Court's order. A bench of Justices J.B. Pardiwala and R. Mahadevan said that High Court's decision suffered from serious legal infirmity and was an arbitrary exercise of discretion. The Supreme Court in its judgment said that no matter how influential the accused are, they are not above the law. The Supreme Court said that the accused were given a 5-star treatment in jail. The jail superintendent should have been suspended for that. It added that before the law, no one is big and no one is small. The bench was hearing a plea filed by the state government against Karnataka High Court's 13th of December 2024 order of bail to actor Darshan, who was a co-accused and continues to be a co-accused in the Renuka murder case. Now, Darshan, along with actress Pavitra Gowda and several others, are accused of abducting and torturing 33-year-old Renuka a fan who allegedly sent obscene messages to Pavitra Gowda. My colleague Gautam joining us with more details. Gautam, it's a big setback for the actor and the co-accused. Pavitra Gowda too has now been taken back into the custody.
Absolutely, a massive setback now. Just a few days after completing the shooting of his movie, it's come as a big shock to Darshan, and now he has been arrested, and not just him, it is 6 others who are the co-accused in Renuka all of them have been taken into custody, and it will be interesting to see what really happens from here on, because keep in mind that the Supreme Court has raised serious questions about the jail stay of Darshan as well, whether he will be shifted to Bengaluru's central prison, that is the Parapana Agrahara, or whether he will be actually taken to Ballari Central Prison, which is where he was first lodged when he was arrested in connection with Renuka murder back in June last year as well. He had spent 60 days over there, so whether he will be taken there or whether it is the central prison in Bangalore, that is a call that the Karnataka police will have to make. And also there was speculation that Darshan was nowhere to be found earlier in the day, but actually following the Supreme Court copy reaching the Sessions Court, the police have acted swiftly, and he has been in touch with the police is what we are given to believe. And now Darshan's jail stay resumes, but keep in mind, amidst all of this, the trial in the Renuka murder case has not been completed, and the trial will go on. Not just him, it is
trial in just a bit. But earlier today, Supreme Court also made some very serious observations with respect to the 5-star treatment given out and meted out to Darshan, also suggesting that the jail superintendent should have been suspended for it, and that he is maybe a big person as a actor, but he's not above law.
Absolutely, the verdict by the Supreme Court should serve as a landmark verdict for not just in the case of Darshan, but in case of celebrities and others as well who sort of get preferential or VIP treatment in the prison as well. Keep in mind that when Darshan was actually there in prison, there were images that had leaked out from the Bangalore Central Prison showing him smoking and having a good time with his buddies, and also there was speculations that he was actually getting food from outside. He was actually getting food and phone was also allowed as well. So amidst all of these allegations, now it will be really interesting to see how the police will crack down on this. Keep in mind that it was the Karnataka government itself that had opposed the bail that was given by Karnataka High Court, and the Supreme Court came down very heavily on the state High Court as well, saying that the way it had acted in this whole matter was actually very worrying for it as well, and it has asked serious questions, and it's the state police and also the state government that mounted a serious case in the Supreme Court and got the bail cancelled. Now all of them are back, and it should serve as a landmark verdict for future cases where celebrities are arrested and for any kind of offences in the future that the government or the police cannot really give them preferential treatment. And right now, what we understand is that a warrant was about to be produced for the arrest of Darshan as well, but in the meantime, he's actually come back and surrendered.
Right.
So it is not a case of him being taken into custody by the police in terms of arresting him beforehand, but it's actually him respecting the Supreme Court's order and surrendering here as well.
Right, the Supreme Court there stepping in, suggesting that Darshan has not been treated as per law. In fact, he's been treated and given special treatment by the jail superintendent, for which the jail officials should be held guilty. But at the same time, before I let you go, Gautam, what is the latest on the Renuka Swami murder case? You mentioned that the investigation is still on.
Yes, the investigation, keep in mind the murder itself took place in June last year. And even after 1 year right now, the trial is still underway. Keep in mind, just a few days back, Darshan and some of the accused had appeared before a trial court where charge sheet is yet to be framed in this particular case. And amidst all of this, he had already got bail from the Karnataka High Court and on the pretext of him having extreme back pain. And as soon as he got bail, we saw him attending movie screenings and also visiting abroad and completing his entire movie shoot for this movie called Devil as well. And this had actually fallen into the eyes of Supreme Court as well, and noticed that this is not the actual reason why he was granted bail, and it was almost as if the Karnataka High Court had acquitted him completely, is the kind of statement that the Supreme Court had made. And now the trial will take place, and what we understand is that by September, the entire 17 accused charge sheet will be prepared against all of them, and that is when we will have a serious conviction and quantum of sentencing also could take place then.
All right. And, let me quickly quote back to you what the Supreme Court said today while assessing whether the High Court was right. It said, we are going to assess whether High Court applied its mind judiciously before granting bail in such a serious matter, and we will not make the same mistake as the High Court did, quote unquote. Also, in a way, saying that perhaps High Court, along with the jail superintendents as well as other officials, seem to be lenient to actor Darshan.
Absolutely, because keep in mind the Supreme Court actually observed that the verdict in the Darshan case should serve as an example for all high courts and jail officials across the country. And when the verdict was given as well, the Supreme Court actually directed this judgment be circulated to all high courts and jail superintendents across India, and through their respective state governments, basically indicating that Supreme Court is serious about the statement where it said all persons are subject to are actually equal before the law, and it has reiterated the statement by ensuring that this judgment actually goes out across the country, and it's not just going to be applicable for Darshan, it is applicable for anyone who tries to abuse their VIP privileges because of their high standing in terms of politics or as a celebrity. That's not going to matter. It's only about everyone being equal before the law, and that is the major takeaway from the verdict that was given today as well here in Darshan case as well.
And the law applies equally to everybody. That's the message coming in there from Supreme Court. Stay with us, Gautam. Let's take our viewers quickly through what has transpired. Now, Darshan, along with actress Pavitra Gowda and several others, are now accused of abducting and torturing 33-year-old Renuka Swami, who's a fan, and allegedly sent obscene messages to Pavitra Gowda. The police has alleged that the victim was held in a shed in Bengaluru for 3 days in June of 2024. He was tortured. His body was recovered from a drain. The actor was first granted interim bail on the matter on medical grounds in October of 2024. And all 17 accused are currently or were on bail, of which 2 have now been taken back into custody. And two prime accused in this case, of course, are Pavitra Gowda and actor Darshan. So this is the big story coming from South, where the implication from Supreme Court as of this morning is that a person, due to their high standing in society by the way of the power they influence on people, so be it a political person or a person of high stature by the way of the movies they appear in this case Darshan being a popular actor, is perhaps getting VIP treatment despite committing a serious crime like murder and conspiracy. My colleague Vajula also joining us with more details on that big story. Vaji, serious directions there coming from Supreme Court. Supreme Court clearly implying that actor Darshan should be treated like a common criminal.
Absolutely, Shweta. The Supreme Court went very heavily on Darshan's bail, and it also pointed out how there should not be any difference, like you said, between Darshan and a common man, and the leeway that has been given to Darshan, despite the fact that there are big evidences, heavy evidences against the actor, be it the blood samples of Renuka Swami on the clothes of Darshan, the soil samples on the shoes of Darshan, his presence, the CCTV footage, all these things have been incriminating, and that is why the Supreme Court lashed out at the lawyers, saying that how could he be given bail, and even at the Sessions Court that it had been done a misjudgment. So this is somewhere or the other a landmark judgment that has been given. Now, as we speak, we've been also told that Darshan has been arrested from his apartment at Asarkalli, and he will be taken to Annapurneshwari police station, where they will do a medical checkup of Darshan, and from there he will be taken to the Sessions Court, and at the Session Court it will be decided whether he will be taken to Parappana Agrahara jail or at the other Bellary jail where he was stationed, because as we all know that at the Parappana Agrahara he got some special treatment. There were videos of him coming, which had come out of him smoking a cigarette inside the jail, and how he had got treatment from the other inmates. So clearly keeping that in mind, he was shifted to the Bellary jail. So in the Sessions Court, that is one thing that will be decided, whether Darshan will stay in Parappana Agrahara or will go to Bellary. But as we speak, almost everyone has been rounded up by the police. They've all been taken to the Annapurneshwari police station, and in no time from there they will all be brought to the Session Court, and there the judge will give their verdict of where they will go. But today's judgment has been a landmark judgment, keeping in mind the gravity of the crime that was committed and what had happened, because he had got bail, and there was a lot of violation with regards to the bail also. He did not attend the court hearing at one point of time, saying that he has back pain, but he was seen watching a movie with one of the eyewitnesses named Chikanna. So that was something that went down heavily with the Supreme Court, that actor had misused his bail. So right now his arrest is also a significant development in this particular case, and now with him going to the Session Court, we'll have to wait and watch which jail will Darshan go to now.
Classic case there, Vaji, of VVIP treatment being meted out to somebody despite the seriousness of the crime that they've committed. What's the chatter in where you are at the moment? What are people feeling about their favorite actor now being brought back to custody, but a man who's also now accused of a serious crime?
Well, Darshan's popularity is something that hasn't diminished, and you still continue to have fans thronging at the Sessions Court from where we are. We've just moved out from the Sessions Court to another location, and we will be heading back to the court in no time, and that is where we've seen a lot of people gathering there just to get a glimpse of the actor, because when we had seen when he had got bail, there was a huge crowd at Sessions Court. It was very difficult. The fans had become unruly, keeping in mind that their star was pulled by the police, and we'd seen a confrontation. But right now also the fans are trickling in at the Sessions Court. A lot of police bandobast has been done. Police bandobast has been done at the Annapurneshwari police station also, because they fear that the fans might lose their cool when they see Darshan. So this is the fear that the people have, and that is one of the reasons why we have not seen much of the industry people also coming out and speaking. you have one or two people who have taken the courage to speak, because not everyone is able to face the backlash that they see them facing when it comes to the fans who troll them on social media every now and then. We had seen this in the case of Ramya also. She was one of the actors who came out and spoke against Darshan. She was very vocal about the fact that how can he be given bail, and that is when you'd seen numerous people trolled her, gave her death threats, and she had even filed complaints against her, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of actors have also feared speaking against Darshan.
Okay, interesting. Fans continue to throng the Supreme Court as well as, the jails where Darshan has been earlier lodged. His popularity is not waning, despite the fact the Supreme Court has made serious suggestions and directions there, questioning the High Court order of granting him bail, as well as questioning the VVIP treatment he was meted out in jail. Thank you very much, Vajji, for all those details. That's the big story we're tracking at this point. Darshan, the main accused in the Renukaswamy murder case, as well as Pavitra Gowda, the co-accused, have now been taken back into custody. And that's the story and the latest that we continue to track. Time for a very short break now. We'll be back in just a bit.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9 English.
Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत
मारो गाँव कांठा पर जहाँ सोनेरी है दिन रातें, जहाँ खुशियाँ करती बातें, मारे गाँव छाई धूप से हरियाली, रे मारे गाँव छाई धूप से हरियाली। रे बायो गैस है कमाल, गोबर्धन से खिले जहान, फैली घर घर में मुस्कान, पूरे हुए सभी अरमान। सुनो सुनो रे, आई आपकी बहार, खुले नए नए संसार, खून पे पैसों की बरसात, मारे घर झांझर लक्ष्मी के बाजे, रे मारे घर झांझर लक्ष्मी के बाजे।
ड्रामा मतलब बेबो, स्वीटेस्ट मतलब लोलो, पार्टी मतलब जेलो, और 10 मिनट्स मतलब बिग बास्केट। 10 minutes मतलब बिग बास्केट, 10 minutes मतलब बिग बास्केट।
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9 English news as it should be.
Welcome back. You're watching News9. Breaking news coming on the show. Months after suffering a humiliating setback against India in Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is now revamping its military strategy, announcing the creation of a dedicated army rocket force. The new command will oversee missile operations in conventional warfare and is set to be modelled on China's People Liberation's Army Rocket Force. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif made the announcement on the eve of Pakistan's Independence Day at a ceremony in Islamabad, commemorating the recent military confrontation with India. Officials say that the force will centralize and enhance Pakistan's missile combat capabilities, a move seen by defense experts as a direct response to India's battlefield dominance during Operation Sindoor. The decision also signals a push to deepen military cooperation with China, Pakistan's key defense partner and ally, while sending a message to India about Islamabad's intent to bolster its deterrence capabilities. No timeline has been given for when the rocket force will be fully operational, but analysts warn it could trigger a fresh arms race in the region.
आज इस मौका पर मैं आर्मी रॉकेट फोर्स कमांड की तश्कील का ऐलान करता हूं। जदीद टेक्नोलॉजी की हामिल और दुश्मन को हर सिंह से निशाना लगाने की सलाहियत रखने वाली ये फोर्स, ये कुव्वत हमारी रवायती जंगी सलाहियत को मजीद मजबूत करने के हवाले से एक और संग मील साबित होगा।
And India has hit back strongly at Pakistan's latest military posturing and hostile rhetoric, reacting to Islamabad's announcement of a new army rocket force. Made weeks after its defeat in Operation Sindoor, the Ministry of External Affairs has condemned what it calls a continuing pattern of reckless warmongering comments from Pakistani leaders. MEA spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that anti-India rhetoric is a well-worn tactic by Pakistan's leadership to distract from its domestic failures. He warned Islamabad to temper its language, cautioning that any misadventure would have painful consequences, just as was witnessed recently during the confrontation with India.
We have seen reports regarding a continuing pattern of reckless, warmongering and hateful comments from Pakistani leadership against India. It is well known that modus operandi of the Pakistani leadership to whip up anti-India rhetoric time and again to hide their own failures. Pakistan would be well advised to temper its rhetoric, as any misadventure will have painful consequences, as was demonstrated recently.
Right, my colleague Aditya Rajkol joining us with more details. Aditya, Pakistan announcing an army rocket force is a clear, indication that it's revamping its military strategy, perhaps on the back of losses it suffered during Operation Sindoor.
That's right, Shweta. A very, continuous threats coming in from the Pakistani side. We've seen the nuclear threat statement from Asim Munir a few days ago from the US soil, and thereafter continuous statements from the Pakistan Prime Minister, the Defence Minister and the former Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto, saying that a very strong response will be given to India if the Indus Water Treaty is put into abeyance, and has been continuous warmongering from the Pakistani side as well. Now the latest statement from the Pakistan Prime Minister on the eve of the Independence Day of Pakistan, announcing a new rocket force on the pattern of the Chinese PLA. We've known during the Operation Sindoor also that the Chinese PLA and the Chinese administration had been helping Pakistan strategically, both the Pakistan Air Force and the Pakistan Army. And now India hitting back Pakistan with a very strong and vociferous statement. Randhir Jaiswal, the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs, stating that any misadventure by Pakistan will result in painful consequences for Pakistan, as was demonstrated and visible during the recently concluded Operation Sindoor, the 4-day military confrontation in which Pakistan had ultimately no response. We hit 9 terror camps and headquarters of terrorists which were backed by the Pakistan Army and the ISI, and then when there was retaliation from the Pakistani side, we hit the Pakistani airfields, the Pakistani command control centers and Pakistani Air Force and military bases all across Pakistan. And even today, several of those bases are not operational because of the extent of damage that was suffered by the Pakistani side. Now, Asim Munir may put up a brave face and perhaps be the first army chief of Pakistan to be awarded with the Field Marshal title after an embarrassing defeat at the hands of the Indian military and the Tri-Service. But it's clearly visible that Pakistan has been defeated and had faced a very embarrassing and crushing defeat during the entire Operation Sindoor. It faced a loss of casualties of the Pakistani military and the Pakistani Air Force personnel as well. But it doesn't seem like the Pakistan is going to change its stance. It's cross-border terrorism, the proxy war, and the kind of radical provocations that have been coming in either from Asim Munir or the civilian establishment from Pakistan. But New Delhi is very much clear that there is no question of having any kind of a dialogue with Pakistan, and we will be watching Pakistan's next steps very, very closely. Absolutely. And if there is a provocation, Operation Sindoor is still underway and there will be a very strong response.
All right, and the response has been to Islamabad to temper its language. On language particularly, we've seen Asim Munir going out and about, warning India and also putting out picture of Mukesh Ambani trying to hit India's economic prowess, Aditya. So the warmongering continues.
That's right. Several of these statements that have come in from top leadership of Pakistan, be it the civilian establishment or the military leadership, clearly indicates that Pakistan is nervous. It doesn't know what hit them and it doesn't know what the future really holds for them. There's been an economic meltdown in Pakistan. They've been desperately begging before the United States for some kind of a defense partnership and aid from the World Bank and the IMF. At the same time, Asim Munir has been given a free hand by the US to in fact threaten India with a nuclear threat from the US soil itself. And apart from that, Bilawal Bhutto making a very strong statement and a threat against India from Sindh, where he said that if the Indus Water Treaty is put into abeyance and if dams are constructed by India, then certainly Pakistan will hit back. We also had statements coming in from the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and of course the Defence Minister Khwaja Asif saying that if there is another war or military confrontation, then Pakistan will not hit only at the borders but will hit inside India. India has taken a very strong note of these provocations that are coming in, and as Randir Jaiswal said, that there will be painful consequences for Pakistan, because the Indian military is very much prepared for any kind of threats, cross-border terrorism or provocations from the Pakistani military.
All right, warmongering, nuclear rhetoric continues from Pakistani side, and India has now given a befitting response. Aditya, thank you very much for taking time out on that crucial story. And at least 12 people are feared dead after a massive cloudburst triggered flash floods in Jammu and Kashmir's Kishtwar district. The incident occurred in Shashtoti area and the starting point of Machail Mata Yatra, washing away a langar which was set up for pilgrims. Lieutenant Governor's office has said that NDRF and SDRF teams have been rushed to the spot with instructions now to speed up rescue and relief operations. And meanwhile, as rescue operations by NDRF and SDRF are underway, the administration is also on high alert. Meteorological Centre in Srinagar has warned of moderate to heavy rain, intense showers, thunder, lightning and gusty winds across many parts of the Union Territory over the next 4 to 6 hours.
लोगों से मेरी यही अपील है कि आप पैनिक ना हो, और खासकर जो हमारे जो यात्रा करने आ रहे हैं वो यात्रा जो है अब अपनी यात्रा जो कैंसिल करें, जो फर्दर हम इसमें आपको इंफॉर्मेशन देंगे। और यहाँ डिस्ट्रिक्ट किश्तवाड़ के लोगों से भी मेरी यही रिक्वेस्ट है कि पैनिक ना हो।
चिसोती जो गांव है किश्तवाड़ में, वहाँ पर जो है क्लाउड बर्स्ट हुआ है। उस क्लाउड बर्स्ट की वजह से वहाँ पर जो कुछ नुकसान हुआ है, डैमेज हुआ है, तो वहाँ पर उस डैमेज के बाद में इमीडिएटली SDRF, लोकल पुलिस और लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन वहाँ पे पहुँच गया है। NDRF टीम की भी वहाँ पहुँचने वाली है, आर्मी भी एक्टिवेट की गई है, एयरफोर्स भी एक्टिवेट की गई है और सभी मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज़ को भी एक्टिवेट किया गया है। तो वहाँ पर अभी जो है सर्च ऑपरेशन चल रहा है। सभी जितनी भी रिलीफ रेस्क्यू की ऑपरेशन की टीम्स है वो ऑन जॉब है।
ये सारा क्षेत्र पर्वतीय क्षेत्र है और चंडी माँ मचेल जी की पवित्र यात्रा इस वक्त चल रही है, उफान पर है और इस सारे क्षेत्र को भारी तबाही का सामना करना पड़ा है। चूंकि इस वक्त मां मचेल चंडी माता की पवित्र यात्रा भी चल रही है और इसलिए यात्रा में भी भारी व्यवधान की खबरें आ रही हैं। पूरा प्रशासन, भारतीय सेना, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट की टीम्स को मौके पर भेज दिया गया है। प्रशासन राहत और बचाव कार्य में प्रशासन की टीमें वहां पहुंच रही हैं। चशोती और इसके आसपास मचेल माता, पाडर, मस्सू, अठोली, गुलाबगढ़ और किश्तवाड़ के लोग जो वहां के स्थानीय लोग हैं, चशोती के उस पाडर नाले में जहां बादल फटे हैं वहां पहुंच रहे हैं। राहत और बचाव कार्य बड़ी तेजी से चलाया जा रहा है।
And heavy rains continue to lash parts of Uttarakhand as well, bringing fresh concerns of flooding and landslides. The Indian Meteorological Department has forecasted more rain for the next 3 days, warning that the intensity could increase in certain pockets. Emergency teams are on standby to respond to any rain-related incidents. In Harsil region of Uttarkashi district, which was recently affected by relentless downpour, is again witnessing a consistent shower, disrupting normal life and making road travel risky. Rains in the past few weeks have formed temporary lake in Harsil area due to heavy debris falling into the Harsil Gad. Officials who inspected the site said that water is currently flowing smoothly from the lake's mouth and there is no immediate risk of a major flooding. With monsoon rains continuing now relentlessly across northeast as well, the Assam government has intensified its flood and erosion control measures, especially in high-risk zones along the Brahmaputra, which is expected to rise by 5 to 20 centimeters by tomorrow morning. Urgent embankment work is underway in Dongra under the Barpeta division to secure a vulnerable stretch of the river. City authorities are keeping a close watch on the Bharalu and Basista rivers, which are prone to overflow during high-intensity rainfall. And rapidly rising water levels in Brahmaputra have raised concerns, with erosion already affecting multiple rural belts along the riverbank. Meanwhile, in the state capital Guwahati, the Indian Met Department has issued a heavy rain warning, forecasting persistent downpours and thunderstorms through the coming week. And 15th August has been flagged as a high-risk day, with concerns that strong upstream flow could combine with heavy local rainfall to cause urban flooding. And shifting focus to Delhi now, where heavy rains lushed the national capital, uprooting a tree that fell on a biker and a car in southeast Delhi's Kalkaji area, killing one person on spot. Roads in locality were submerged and large crowds gathered as bystanders tried to rescue one of the people trapped under the fallen tree. The morning downpour has left its impact well into the afternoon. The Indian Meteorological Department had issued a red alert earlier in the day, as visuals showed intense showers drenching Noida, Delhi and Gurugram. The rain led to widespread waterlogging and severe traffic gridlock across the city, from Lajpat Nagar to R.K. Puram, Lodhi Road to Rohtak Road and Dholakua to Gurugram stretch. Outer Ring Road near Subrata Park was also inundated, which caused long delays during morning rush hour. The Weather Office is now forecasting light to moderate rain for the rest of the day, with isolated heavy showers possible in the next few hours. Delhi Traffic Police has advised commuters to plan their travel and avoid waterlogged stretches. And moving to Uttar Pradesh now, where heavy rain continues to disrupt life of residents. Lucknow magistrate has announced a closure of all government and non-government schools from classes 1 to 12 due to bad weather. Adding to the chaos, a road caved in near the Aliganj area, prompting authorities to cordon off the site and divert traffic to ensure public safety. This comes after an Indian Met Department forecast warning of more rain in coming hours. My colleague Vipin Chaube brings us this report. And get you that report shortly, but on your screens right now, the road that caved in near Aliganj area, which prompted authorities to cordon off the site and divert traffic. Shifting focus to stories of India that are in news today. In a groundbreaking stride towards green transportation, India is now all set to roll out its first hydrogen-powered train, marking a historic leap in sustainable rail travel. The first hydrogen-powered train in the country will operate between Jind and Sonipat in Haryana. With this, India will become the fifth country in the world after Germany, France, Sweden and China to run trains powered by hydrogen technology. And according to Indian Railways, this will be the world's most powerful and longest hydrogen-powered train with the capacity to transport 2,600 passengers. Union Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnav shared the development on social media platform X. And in response to a question in Rajya Sabha, Vaishnav detailed the plans of 35 hydrogen-powered trains under the Hydrogen for Heritage initiative. Each train is projected to cost nearly 80 crore rupees, with an additional 70 crore rupees estimated for route infrastructure on heritage and hill routes. Indian Railways has launched a pilot project to develop the country's first hydrogen train by converting a diesel-electric multiple unit brake to run on hydrogen fuel cells. Indian Railways has recently completed testing of its first hydrogen-powered train coach at Chennai's Integral Coach Factory, describing it as a significant step towards creating future-ready and sustainable India. And in what is being hailed as a major victory for India's decade-long battle against left-wing extremism, the government has now reported a dramatic 81% drop in Naxalite violence in 2024 when compared to 2010. The latest data presented in Parliament signals a turning point in fight against insurgency, one that has long plagued India's tribal heartlands and tribal headquarters. Now, Union Minister of State for Home Affairs Nityanand Rai, in a written reply submitted in Lok Sabha, that the decline in Naxalite-related incidents is the result of resolute implementation of National Policy and Action Plan of 2015. The minister also highlighted that there has been a sharp decline in LWE-affected districts, with the number of Naxal-hit districts coming down from 126 back in 2013 to 18 by April of 2025. Exposing the irony of the Naxalbari movement, the minister emphasized that it's the tribal communities who have endured the greatest suffering in this so-called people's war against the Indian state. And in a boost for Make in India initiative, global tech brand OnePlus has announced collaboration with Indian electronic firm Bhagwati Productions to produce premium tablets for India. This move is a part of OnePlus Project Starlight, which reflects its broader vision to deepen local integration and investment in India's tech ecosystem. And while the company is already manufacturing smartphones and regular tablets in India, the new agreement paves the way for production of OnePlus premium tabs in the country. The collaboration is a boost to Prime Minister Modi's vision to make India a global technology and manufacturing hub. Alongside China and Vietnam, India is now a major player in global electronics manufacturing. India has 300 mobile manufacturing units in total, up from 2 in 2014. So from 2 in 2014 to 300 today. And according to government data for financial year 2014, 26% of mobile phones sold in India were locally made, which has surged now to 99.2%. And moving on, India and Zambia have inked a memorandum of understanding to promote trade between cooperatives from both the countries. The MOU, executed last month, will provide facilities for trade alliances between cooperatives of both countries. The Minister of Cooperation, Amit Shah, in a written submission in Lok Sabha, stated that Cooperative Ministry is working to strengthen India's cooperative export ecosystem through India missions abroad. The ministry is working through India Missions Abroad to provide marked information to National Cooperative Exports Limited and connect with importers from specific country. The minister also said that NCEL has also signed memoranda with Senegal as well as Indonesia-backed entities in the past. And that's all we have on the show. Thank you very much for watching.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.
एसोसिएट स्पॉन्सर डायना प्रीमियम ब्यूटी सोप, पहली झलक करे खूबसूरत असर।
Hi, this is Baman Irani.
Hi, this is Karishma Tanna. Hi, I'm Nusha Bharucha.
Catch this conversation on News9. Catch this conversation on News9.
Catch me and this conversation on News9.
Hi, this is Shahid Kapoor and catch this conversation on News9.
Uttarakhand has been witnessing heavy continuous rainfall this season. Why did this happen? This is happening because of us